This uh, this piece is titled Heywood Broun, Remembered and Forgotten. Heywood Broun wrote for newspapers back when newspapers mattered. Take the 1930s. Europe, especially Germany, Italy, and Spain, was going straight to hell in the form of the Second World War. The United States of America was locked into the Great Depression. These were singular times, and Broun took them head on as a newspaper columnist. He was not a communist or even a socialist. He was a journalist. He was a singular figure himself, very much a man about town. He went to Harvard, but he did not graduate. Foreign languages did not agree with him. English did, in particular the Bible. He loved sports, especially baseball, boxing, and the horses. He liked to play poker and wager at the racetrack. He married a feminist, Ruth Hale, who kept her name. He had tremendous respect for her. They had a son and an amicable divorce. He later married a showgirl. He was a member of the Round Table, the wits at the Algonquin Hotel. They called him the unmade bed because of his ever-casual dress. He believed that journalists could make a difference in the world, seeking better ways, in a world that desperately needed better ways. He died in 1939 of pneumonia at the age of 51. 3,000 people attended his funeral service. On February 12, 1940, 12,000 people showed up for a memorial gathering. There were speakers, and what they had to say was preserved in the form of a book. His column had been called It Seems to Me, later titled It Seems to Heywood Broun, and this commemorative volume was titled Heywood Broun as He Seemed to Us. I got a copy of it. I wanted to see what people thought of a journalist back when newspapers mattered. I would add that newspapers don't matter now, not much, if at all. They're extinct, although a few of them continue to flop around and act as if they do matter, even though time and technology have gutted them of any relevance. Maybe there is a Heywood Broun out there right now, writing a blog or sending out tweets. I don't know about that. I do know that Heywood Broun is now forgotten. He was a liberal long before liberalism became the fashion. An etching in the front of the book shows him walking alone toward the sun, setting or rising as you wish. The meeting and the book were sponsored by the Newspaper Guild of New York, which Broun helped to found. Here is what some of the people at that meeting had to say about him. Alert of mind and brimming with genius, he was good at everything that interested him and rotten in everything that didn't. Heywood was a gin-drinking, poker-playing, wicked old reprobate. But the other side of his shield was filled to overflowing with his virtues. I think we loved him as much for his delightful frailties as we did for the qualities that made him a marked man. This strong humility, this feeling of himself in the shoes of the fellow in trouble, was a large factor in his burning lust for justice. He despised position and power for its own sake. His soul poured out eloquently in protest at the abuse of such position and power. He was always looking for certainty, always looking for finality, always fighting the boss. Heywood fought not people but philosophies and theories and principles. He was an outpost in the vanguard of progress. He always had a nice way of saying bad things about me. No one ever questioned his sincerity or doubted that he wasn't speaking from the heart. He was clear-eyed about himself and especially about his weaknesses. We taxi drivers not only loved Mr. Broun for his liberal tips, but we loved him also for his liberal views and support. 25 years ago, most people didn't say the things that Heywood was saying. They are all saying them now, but he said them first. When I read him, I wanted to be better than I was. I think that this country of ours and every man and woman in it are better off because Heywood Broun lived, because he had the temerity and the strength to tear aside that veil of deceit and hypocrisy which sometimes obscure public vision on a public question. I miss him. We all miss him.